Good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to meeting 559 of Blue Quest. I am Sheila Mcintyre, your Sergeant at Arms for today. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. You are now inside the code of conduct of a Toastmasters meeting. Please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and that it may not be possible to pause the recording. The following are the meeting rules. Please be advised that any behavior that disturbs the flow of the meeting will result in removal from the meeting room without any warning. Please ensure that your noise-making devices are either switched off or on silent mode. Please speak responsibly on religion, sex, and politics. As far as possible, please keep your videos on, audio off, and applause flowing throughout. Be the kind of audience for others you would like to have for yourself. Toastmaster of the day, Table Topics Master, and General Evaluator, please ensure a smart audio video check before handing over to respective role players. Role players, please rename yourself with the role which you are taking up tonight. And please acquaint yourself with the role of the timer. The timer will use background changes or screen sharing to indicate time using one of three cards. Green means that you've reached the minimum qualifying time. Yellow indicates that it's a good time to start concluding. Red specifies you have 30 seconds more or you will be disqualified. Individual session timings will be explained in due time. We do encourage the use of Zoom emoticons generously to encourage role players. We request sincerely that you would not send chat messages to everyone or the speaker on stage. In fact, we would ask that you refrain from chatting altogether and focus on the speaker. Reiterating, please keep your mics on mute unless specifically requested to unmute, and there will be polls that will be launched, and you will have 30 seconds until they close. At this time, I would like to hand over our meeting to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Sumi.
Thank you, Sheila. I welcome all the guests and members to our meeting number 559. We have Rama with us as a guest, and we have Raj Mehta, who is a guest but playing the role of Toastmaster of the day. He is always available whenever he's just a call away, most of the time. This time also he came to rescue when I called him, would you play a table Toastmaster of the day? He immediately said, Sumit, give me just 2 minutes, I'll call you back. And he called me back with this surprise that he will be doing a table Toastmaster of the day with the theme of rituals and customs. Rituals and customs are more surprising in India. Most of us sometimes blame them, but most of us also do not know why some of the rituals were founded at laid back. Most of them have a reason behind it. We mostly don't know about those reasons, but let's figure out what Rajmata has in store for us today. Without any further delay, I would like to welcome Raj Mehta on stage to lead the meeting with theme Customs and Rituals. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumit Juneja, presiding officer at Blue Quest Toastmasters Club meeting. He gets amazed by the custom of having curd and sugar before going for examinations. Sugar gives carbohydrates, which is good for our brain, and curd keeps the stomach right, which is a prerequisite for doing good in exams. So there is a purpose behind this custom, which according to Toastmaster Sumit Juneja, the present generation doesn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard something about custom, which our president observes or watches and feels that it plays some role in our life, especially the exams, which is one of the important acts of our life, because exams set our life in future. What are these customs? Why do we observe them? What will happen if we do not observe them? How can we change these customs? and rituals. What is the ritual, and what are the differences between these two? And what customs and rituals are there, not only in India, but in other parts of the world? I shall be talking about this during my meeting as Toastmaster of the meeting. There shall be other activities as well. Before I introduce the structure of the meeting, I would first like to talk about the theme of the meeting. Let's know what custom is. Custom is a usual way of behavior or a tradition in a class of people. It may not be a habit or out of habit. For example, we do namaste or adab or sat shri akal or vanakkam. Sometimes we even shake our heads for greetings. So these are all customs. Similarly, sometimes we bow down to elder people. We kiss when we meet. This is also a custom. Catholics giving up meat on Friday during Lent is also a custom. Similarly, some people burp while eating food and noodles. This is also custom. Taking shoes off before entering a house is custom in some parts of India. Sitting on the floor and eating is also a custom in some other parts of India. And sometimes even eating with hands is a custom. So there are so many customs and which we are following since ages. Customs may be reduced, removed, and sometimes enhanced. Suppose I stop saying namaste to somebody, so nobody would mind it, because if I'm stopping observing some custom, that is up to me. So this can be removed, this can be reduced. Or in case I want to do namaste as well as adab, so that is enhancing of the custom. Similarly, rituals, these are a bit different. These are the acts performed at special ceremonies. The ceremonies may be religious or non-religious, as well as on the occasion of happiness or sorrow. For example, at the time of birth, at the time of baptism, during marriage, and sometimes at the time of death. Removing or reducing rituals may or may not happen, or it may take years or generations to change or remove or to reduce a ritual. So rituals are there on our life. These have been embedded in our lives deep, and it sometimes becomes difficult to change a ritual. Some examples of customs and rituals from around the world are: in Nicaragua, it is common to point with the lips instead of thumb or index finger. So if you are asking somebody the way to some place, instead of telling with the help of finger or thumb, they would raise their lips and move them side by side like this. Similarly, in France, kissing is very prevalent. But there are some rules for kissing for men and women in France. Secondly, a number of cases required to complete the greeting changes from region to region in France. Not only that, in France, people are expected to greet each person at a party or gathering upon arrival, whether they know the attendees or not. Some more interesting customs are from Greece, especially at the time of wedding. Spitting in Greek cultures is a kind of good luck that is supposed to help ward off the devil. So they spit at the time of weddings. However, it has evolved into a more symbolic act where guests mainly forcefully utter fatao, 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 which means phew. This is also performed at baptism for good luck to new baby. So you see, there are many customs from in India and from other parts of the world. I shall be talking more about these customs and rituals, but let us first know what today's meeting has in store for us. Today, we shall be having 3 sections in a meeting. It will be prepared speeches section, wherein we shall have 2 speeches today. This shall be followed by table topic session, which shall be conducted by distinguished Toastmaster Surendra Bhomik, and that shall be followed by evaluation session, which shall be conducted by Toastmaster Elisa Schneider. Now, I request Toastmaster Anisa Schneider to kindly introduce her team of supplementary role players.
Good morning to each of you who has woken up to be a part of this wonderful, outstanding meeting on customs and rituals, and to everybody who has stayed up late to do so also. One of the customs and rituals we have here at Toastmasters is not only to provide a supportive and learning environment, but to provide also a little bit of feedback. And we do this through evaluations. For that, I have a specialized team who have each taken on their role and are going to be presenting today each of their objectives and what they're going to be looking for to help us reach the highest level of productivity here. For that, we are going to call several people, what we call the tag team, timer, counter, and grammarian. And at the end, I will give a report of the overall meeting and they will give the reports of each of their sections. For that, I'm going to start with our timer, Hope. Hope, could you tell us a little bit more about your role? Over to you.
Absolutely, and thank you for making such a beautiful introduction. I am the timer for this morning or my evening. My role as timer is I'm responsible for monitoring each and every segment and speaker. During the course of the time that all individuals will be speaking, initially for the speeches, our first speech is an icebreaker. So the timing limit is 4 minutes to 6 minutes. The second speech will be between 5 minutes to 7 minutes. With that, once the icebreaker speech hits the 4-minute mark, there will be a green screen that I will be showing. With the second speech at 5 minutes, you will receive the green screen. The yellow screen will arrive for the icebreaker at 5 minutes. With the second speaker, that will be for 6 minutes. And at 7 minutes or 6 minutes for the icebreaker, you will see the red background. Additionally, with our table topics, you have between 1 to 2 minutes. So when you see the green placard, that will be 1 minute, 1 minute, 30 seconds will be yellow. And at 2 minutes, the red screen will be behind me. I look forward to timing everyone and keeping a meticulous log of everyone's speeches. I will now turn control of the meeting back over to our general evaluator, Elisa.
Thank you so much, Hope. I can see that we are in qualified hands when it comes to time, and that is fantastic because what would we be without knowing what time it is? Up next, let's call our counter for the day, Sheila Mcintyre, who has last minute jumped in to save the day and is going to tell us a little more about her role. Over to you, Sheila.
Thank you, General Evaluator Elisa. It sounds like I need to go to bed. For tonight's session, I will be the counter. Greetings to everyone. Good morning, good evening. The purpose of the counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutches or pause fillers. These are the words like, error, and double words such as I wanted to tell you. Additionally, words such as this means or things that are very repetitive, or if there is a very long pause that isn't in keeping with the speech or the topic at hand. I will report the number of times that each speaker uses these expressions or these pauses and report back at the end of the session. Over to you, Ms. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Sheila. And now that we are in your capable hands, we will be sure to watch our ums, ahs, and unspecific words like things. Thank you. And last but not least, let us call on TAG, our grammarian for this morning, Sumit Juneja, to explain his role in this meeting. Over to you, Sumit.
Thank you, Elisa. And Madam Toastmaster, Mr. Toastmaster and guest. As a grammarian, my responsibility is to figure out the good usage and not so good usage by the speakers. I will give a close attention to whatever we speak today, and I will note down all the misses as well as all the good usage by all of us. And today the word of the day is mojo. It's somewhere connected to customs and rituals. The meaning of mojo is exceptional ability, good luck, maybe success, a magic charm, talisman, or something we can say spell. Some of the customs are related to those words like spell and talisman. Example of this one is the name has no mojo in it. Someone must have their mojo working over at this record company. Something is not right. I'm putting this word of the day as well as the meaning again in the chat box. Please make use of it throughout the meeting. I'll keep reminding throughout the meeting to you all. Thank you, and over to you, Elisa.
Thank you so much, Sumit, and thank you for having that mojo on and getting us in the preparation for using the word of the day. Fantastic. Now that is our tag team. Like I mentioned, they will be presenting their reports at the end, as will I. I'll be carefully observing our meeting. What did we do well? How can we improve? Because ultimately in Toastmasters, this is our ritual. We look for areas of learning and areas of improvement because we always want to reach as high as we can go and encourage one another. Having said that, I will hand you back over to our ritual master for the day, Toastmaster Raj Mehta, who will continue on this path of learning. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you, Toastmaster Toastmaster Elisa, for introducing your team of timer, counter, and the grammarian. Now we shall move to the first session, which is prepared speeches. Today we shall have two speeches. One is an icebreaker, which shall be delivered by Toastmaster Satvinder Kaur, and second is an advanced speech, which shall be delivered by Toastmaster Anna Whistler. Before I invite first speaker, I would like to introduce this evaluator of the first speaker, who is Toastmaster Sheila Mcintyre. When he asked Sheila on her take about customs and rituals, she says that for her birthday, they would play hot and cold to find the gifts. There would be clues, and she would try to look all over the room to find the gift with another clue attached for another gift. Her mom or dad would tell her hot or super, super hot to indicate she was really close, or cold, iceberg cold, to indicate she was so far away from being in the right place. It brought back a lot of goodness and fun memories. This was Sheila Mcintyre's take on customs and rituals. Our first speaker is Toastmaster Satvinder Kaur. Before I invite her on stage for delivering this speech and also the details of her speech, let us see what she thinks about customs and rituals. She says that being sick, she hardly followed any fixed kind of rituals or customs. However, she feels custom of doing a kanyadan, that is giving away one's daughter to someone in marriage must be reassessed to give everyone equal dignity, irrespective of whether that's a boy or a girl. So, this custom should be abolished, or the society should include putradan, that is, giving away one's son to someone in marriage in the same ritual. What an idea of having or countering the custom which is not good, according to Toastmaster Satvinder Kaur. Toastmaster Satvinder Kaur shall be delivering her icebreaker speech. The title of the speech is Expect the Unexpected. It is from Path Presentation Mastery. Time for the speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Let's all welcome for her icebreaker speech, Toastmaster Satvinder Kaur. Expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected, Toastmaster Satvinder Kaur.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So good day, Toastmasters and guests. I will start with a simple question to everyone. Who like to travel? Please give us a thumbs up. Oh, okay, everyone. So this is Satvinder, working with IT industry for many years. Most of it was working from home only. I don't know the answer myself for my travel question till last week, as I hardly explored traveling due to situations with me. As my only love, my mother fought with MND and lived bravely for 8 years on ventilator at home. And last couple of years, when I started thinking about traveling, this COVID came running along. Now, when things are seems under control, so I thought of traveling along with my sister for a short road trip by our own car. We encircled on Jim Corbett and started our journey with minimum expectations. We started on Thursday last week. My first surprise came along during the end portion of the drive. That was kind of a hilly drive, which otherwise generally I don't prefer to drive myself. Despite I specially bought an automatic car with an hill assist feature. However, I actually loved driving that path that day. Finally, we reached our beautiful resort, Riverside by Ahama. Next morning, when I came out of my room, life gave me its second surprise. I was welcomed with the delight of nature in front of my eyes. Hills in front, along with melodious voice of river crossing over the rocks, along with chirping of birds at the background score. Icing on the cake here was a big wooden swing where I was sitting and enjoying this view, along with humming a Bollywood song suiting this situation. Any guesses? Sunja ए ठंडी हवा. Aha! It was the most peaceful yet ecstatic morning. Coming to the next, we booked our safari along with the friend's family for the landscape zone Sita Bani Forest of Corbett, as all the better zones needs to be booked in advance. So the probability of sight of animal were close to nil for that zone. However, what I actually saw amazed me. A fully open jeep walking through the Kacha Rasta in the dense forest for 3 hours, and our encounter with cool winds swishing through the forest and crossing our skin kept energizing us. While coming back from the jungle path in that evening, a little scared me. I slowly stood up in the moving jeep, quite firmly holding the rods for 5 minutes, with all other passengers already standing there. The high intensity of the air with huge noise crossing through the leaves of the trees and rays of the jeep headlight driving through the curves of somewhat hilly roads was so much thrilling and electrifying time. Reaching late evening at the resort, we enjoyed the tea in the lawn with beautiful retro Bollywood song sung live on the guitar followed by orchestra, where audience was invited to do a karaoke. And to my surprise, I walked on the stage due to my love for the music, but no singer myself. I attempted the oldies track as chorus along with my sister. I'm not going to sing that song for you. It will always remain a special, memorable moment for me. And my surprises are not over yet. The last day, when resort authorities said no one is allowed to enter the suspension bridge except a very early morning, we both took a chance at 6 a.m. as it was only 10 minutes walk from there. We cautiously walked on the huge bridge, standing at the center. What a beautiful view of Mother Earth, which is guarded by hills on one side and green cover of plantation and tree on the other side. And when river flowing below you, bubbling through the white stones, all these lyrical voices, combining it all together, gave a calm and serene experience which will remain in my eyes forever. Fortunately, we came back on Sunday, while later a red alert was announced at Uttarakhand due to heavy rains. This short break turned out to be my life's most awesome experience. So now I can say that this is, I can answer that question, which is I can say I love traveling. So friends, expect the unexpected. Let life surprise you in the most beautiful ways. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Satvinder, for that excellent icebreaker speech. Now we shall observe silence for 1 minute. Speaker. Timer, please show me red card on completion of 1 minute.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Hope William, the timer. Moving on to our next speech, which shall be delivered by Toastmaster Anna Whistler and which shall be evaluated by Toastmaster Khushbu Chokhani. When I asked Toastmaster Khushbu Chokhani about her take on customs and rituals, she says, you may call it a custom or a ritual or love towards your ancestors. She enjoys feeding the Brahmins and the 5 animals, which are cow, crow, ant, dog, and goat. During the Shraddh is a period of around 1 month, which is celebrated twice in a year, during which Hindus offer food to their ancestors in heaven. Toastmaster Khushbu finds it absolutely stunning. She makes her feel good that she is capable of feeding someone, which leaves a sense of humbleness and empowerment that God has blessed to her. This was about Toastmaster Khushbu Chokhani's take on customs and rituals. When I asked the speaker, Toastmaster Anna Whistler, about her take on customs and rituals, she says, when she moved down to Texas, she learned about confetti eggs and doesn't really still understand it all. But to her, it's hilarious that people chase people around with eggs filled with confetti and just hit them on the head and spill confetti everywhere. Great. So we shall have our second speaker, Toastmaster Anna Whistler. She shall be delivering a speech from Project Connect with Your Audience, Level 2, from the path engaging humor. And the time for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And the title of the speech is Cheese Heads to Confetti. Toastmaster Anna Whistler. Cheese heads to confetti. Cheese heads to confetti. Toastmaster Anna Whistler.
I had my very first speech competition happen in 2018 at a Toastmasters club. I was elated. I was fresh, my feet were still wet from joining Toastmasters, and I knew that I had the best speech. I was going to win. It was a tall tales competition, in fact, and if you don't know what a tall tales competition is, you make up a story or use one from real life, exaggerate a few points, add your some mojo, and you have yourself a story. For example, I was strolling in Europe one day, I tripped, I fell, and now there's a Leaning Tower of Pisa. Something that's not really accurate, but could be, right? Now, the story I had come up with was all about football, American football. Who doesn't like a good sports story? I'll tell you who. The 3 middle American female judges. Yeah. Now, it was an interclub competition, so I knew who the judges were, which is not normal for any sort of competition, but I thought and created my speech contest speech to be catering to what I thought was funny, what Anna thought was a great speech. I had missed the crucial and important point of being a Toastmaster, catering your speech to the audience. In Toastmasters, we are talked about and educated to create a speech that more than one person can be a part of, that more than one person can understand, and in fact, create that subject matter that the majority of the audience will understand. Last week, we had our meeting. And as I looked at the participants, a majority of them were coming from the United States. In fact, very few were here in India. DTM Rupinder Singh stated a comment of, well, it's holiday season in India. I'm sorry, holiday season in October? I'm from America. The only holiday we have in October is Halloween, and that's on the 31st of October, where we all dress up and act crazy and different people. So what kind of holidays do you have in October? I'll tell you. And thanks to Google, I found out there are 16 different holidays in India. 14 extra days where the Bank of India is closed. In fact, there are 21 total days where the Bank of India is closed. Man, can I live in India for that? Sounds like I'd have some tall tale stories from that. The whole point of that is that we live in different cultures. We have different stories, different timelines, different places that we get our stories from. And when we're going into an international realm, we have to take into consideration who actually is our audience. I'm also part of another club, and that is an international club. That's based in the Bahamas. And I'm actually vice president of education there. And in that club specifically, as vice president of education, we have the capabilities and I have the opportunity to create the themes of the meeting. So as I'm preparing for November, I'm thinking, all right, themes. Let's think of something exciting. What happens in November? It's a month before Christmas, so can't really go towards the holiday themes quite yet, but Thanksgiving. Who doesn't like remembering the holiday where we eat ham, turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, fresh rolls, green bean casserole, which is my favorite, and celebrate the pilgrims coming to America? Oh yeah, that would be America, not the Bahamas. Again, focusing on finding that one type of characteristic, that subject matter that's going to be beneficial to the mass amounts of people in the audience. As it is a club that we are continuing to grow in the Bahamas, finding that subject matter, that theme, that topic that's going to be all inclusive and allow every Toastmaster to feel confident about coming and speaking is a crucial part of a Vice President of Education's role. In fact, I made sure that there was still a theme about food. If you didn't know, this coming Sunday is National Food Day. So that's our theme, all about food, people. As I was getting introduced, you heard about the other somewhat mojo characteristic that happens here in Texas. We run around every single day talking around Easter, run around in Easter carrying these eggs, real eggs that people have hollowed out, gotten rid of the egg in, and put confetti in. It is still a custom, a ritual, something that you chase people around and smash them on their heads. Of course, they're painless. But as a Toastmaster, when we take our customs, our rituals, our tall tales, our holidays, and combine all of that in together to create a good Toastmaster speech, it's a necessary component to make sure we know who our audience is so that we aren't talking about football, confetti eggs, or the 21 holidays that land in India, or 16 holidays that land in India in the month of October. Master Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anna Whistler, for that excellent speech. Now we shall observe silence for 1 minute. I request timer Toastmaster Hope Williams to show me red card on completion of 1 minute.
My mojo is ready. The timer has started.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hope Williams. Before we move to the next session, which is about table topic session, let us know some more interesting customs and rituals. I'm told that in US, it is a custom that a customer shall give tip equal to 10 to 20% of the food bill. In Denmark, people hang out in cemeteries for socializing in the company of great and famed people. And another example, in Malaysia, pointing with index finger is seen as incredibly offensive. Instead, it is a customary to gesture towards things with the thumb, as this is seen as more polite option. So use of index finger for telling direction or anything else is not considered good in Malaysia. Friends, did you see anything special on my face other than specs and beard? Yeah, Satwinder has pointed out the smearing of my forehead with red color powder or paste. This is also a custom which I observe. Many of us do not observe it. Similarly, did you also notice the light on my face, the change in light on my face? Earlier, it was only the light which was coming from tube light or the electric bulb. But now I'm standing in front of a window through which sunlight is coming on directly on my face. And you might have noticed that I worship sun. So worshipping sun or pouring water in front of sun in the morning is also a custom in India. We shall be talking more about customs and rituals, but let's first have our next session, which shall be conducted by distinguished Toastmaster Surendra Bhaumik. And when I asked about his take on customs and rituals, he tells about a scary ritual which is followed or observed in the state of Karnataka. During this ritual, newborn babies are thrown off the 50 feet high Shri Santeshwar temple. The babies are obviously caught by the family in a cloth. Couples who are blessed with baby after taking a vow at the temple follow this 500-year-old tradition as it brings good luck to the baby. He doesn't know about the babies, but he surely wishes if we could throw some politicians without catching them. Let's welcome our table topic master, distinguished Toastmaster, Surendra Bhaumik. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Yes, customs and rituals are very interesting part of our lives. Maybe, as I mentioned some time back, was in India, we are steeped in these rituals and customs. Everywhere that you go, you will find there are certain traditions which are followed, and people say these are the rituals or the customs of this place. So today, let me ask one of my very good friend, Toastmaster Naveen Parwal. Welcome to the meeting. And the first question to you is, which is the most interesting ritual or custom that you have come across? Over to you, Naveen.
Okay, the most interesting ritual which I find is a tradition of Deepavali, which we celebrate every year, because that is the time I get to meet all my relatives and friends with whom I've not been in touch for quite a long time. And of course, that's a time, I mean, when we have a huge family gathering, and we get to exchange pleasantries with everyone. So that's one of the best rituals, and that's the only time I actually do pray throughout the year, because I'm not a very religious person. So that's the only time I really get to pray. That's it. Yep.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much, Naveen. Now, may I look at my good friend Amit Tandon. Amit, up for a table topic for you? Yes. Today's word of the day is mojo. Amit, what is your mojo?
Okay, interesting. The mojo that I particularly follow in life or basically my claim to fame, what I believe is that I'm someone who's focused on finding solutions to problems instead of reiterating problems or going around in circles to problems that already exist. I think as a world, the world as a whole has enough problems that we need to find solutions of rather than create our own problem sets again and again. And that I believe is what my mojo would be, apart from obvious mojos like traveling and driving till um, I mean driving till everyone else sleeps off. That would be it for me.
Thank you so much, Amit. Okay, can I now call on Shubham? Shubham, yes, your hand is up and I'll give you this question.
Sure.
Very often we go to certain places or to someone's house and sometimes we feel very embarrassed when we do something and people look at us thinking that we are not following certain rituals or certain customs. How do you feel at those times?
Yes. So there have have been not just one but so many instances when the same has transpired with me. When I've been to someone's place, to an all new place, and I have not known what exactly to do, how to respond. So if I recall, there was a time when I went to a friend's place and they were from South India. So they had recently, you know, they had recently shifted to Noida. So they had a tradition that you are not supposed to wear the slippers inside the house. You are supposed to park your shoes, your slippers, your socks outside the home, and before you touch something in the house, you are supposed to wash your hands and your face. Then that was not all. When the meal is ready, you are not supposed to take a bite into the plate directly. You are supposed to take out a certain portion of the food for the like for our ancestors and for the gods. And I was not aware of the same. So I was very shocked, surprised, and embarrassed. I wanted to bury myself in the like, right. So like in the like in the ground, and my reaction was just to say sorry to them and apologize. And I ensured that the next time I went to their home, I was always mindful of these small things, and that made my journey a lot more smoother. Thank you so much.
Well said. Very well done, Kristen. May I now call on our good friend, Jim. Jim, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Jim, you've traveled quite a lot here and there. What is the most funny experience that you've had with local customs or rituals?
What is the most one?
I'm repeating this. You would have traveled a lot and you have gone to different places. Which are the most funny rituals or customs that you've seen in a particular place or in a particular country, which to you is quite amazing and you think, why are they going to have this? But each one of us have a different experience.
My journey takes you to Sweden. Not just Sweden, the capital, Stockholm with buildings, but about an hour and a half by train further north, where my grandkids live. And they celebrate in a village type of way, May Day. May Day is when the sun comes out, and Sweden only gets about 2 months of sun. So when you have a sunny day, no one goes to work. It's given. In winter, they work all the hours. In summer, if it's a beautiful day, they just, even the shops close. Not just half the staff going out, but the shop just closes. Everybody's out. And they're going topless, they're lying on the grass, enjoying the sun worshipping, like a speaker earlier mentioned. And all the kids and all the ladies would weave some twigs into a crown with flowers, little flowers around their head. And they would dance, they would wear the traditional costume, which is a long dress. And they would dance barefoot on the grass by the side of the river, enjoying the outdoors. People would bring their musical instruments, unwired, and just play natural sounds. And the fields would have cows, and everyone is enjoying this. And there's one special ritual, which is queuing up. Now, what would they be queuing up for? Well, what I discovered in Sweden is that toilets are far and few between. And in this village, there were huge queues for just one cubicle for ladies and one for guys. And you think, well, why do guys have to line up? Well, when you go in, you realize it's the same toilet as the female. It's just one unit. And that is something you have to bear in mind. Wherever you go in Sweden, you will find it very hard to find a toilet, even in Stockholm. Back to you, Sweden.
Thank you, Jim. I learned it the hard way when I went to Stockholm. I too had the same problem. Yes. Even the offices don't have enough toilets. Okay. Rupinder, are you ready to take on one?
Sure.
Okay. Rupinder, are you aware that certain countries, when you go to them and you are visiting someone and you carry flowers, the color of the flower is very important. Have you had an experience which you would like to talk about?
Sure. Now, this goes back to my college days. And apparently there is Valentine's Day, which is 14th of Feb. We all know that. But here in India, we probably have a Valentine's week. So 7th is probably some sort of chocolate day. 8th is kick someone day. 9th is die with someone day. Something like that. Now, the thing is that on each day, you're also supposed to give some sort of a rose. And I did not know that the red was a symbol of love. And that wearing a red t-shirt was a symbol that you were single. And at that time, I was not single. So imagine me carrying a red rose, wearing black jeans, on top of that, a red t-shirt. Now, that's not where it stops. You see, we Sikhs, we also wear turbans. And guess the color of the turban I was wearing? Red. So I was not only screaming, I was not only saying that I was single, I was literally screaming that I am single. My girlfriend, when she saw me like that, and she saw that rose in my hand, trust me, the amount of money it took me to convince her, I would probably have treated a few of you to free food for weeks after that. So it was a rather unpleasant introduction to Valentine's Day. And that's the reason why I don't really celebrate Valentine's, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you so much. Actually, I remembered this topic when I was uh, I was in Japan somewhere, and there, one of the rituals is that you never present red flowers to a Japanese, because Japan identifies red with war. So one of the suggestions is, if ever you go to anyone's house, always carry yellow flowers, because that's what they love, because that's peace for them. Now, who else? Who wants to? Can someone put up their hands, and then I can ask them the next question? There you are, Raj sir. Raj, you are a firm believer on rituals, and I see every morning when you come, you washed, you've taken a bath, you're very clean, and you put on your tika. And I want to know, what is the type of satisfaction that you get when you go through this ritual?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. When we talk about satisfaction which we get from rituals, there are many. I feel a sense of security. You might be wondering. I tell you the story behind smearing of my forehead. Somebody told me, or I would say some Brahmin told me, Brahmin in English means priest, that I was passing through a tough time, which is known as Shani Dasa. That is the bad side of Saturn planet. And this was going to happen for the next 7 years. As I believe in religion and religious matters, I believed in that priest. And behold, it really happened. You won't believe, during the next 2 years or so, I lost almost 40 lakh rupees in dealings with property dealers. Not only that, I got myself operated for heart for the second time in 2010. In the same year, I lost my mother. All these were good enough for me to believe that I must worship Saturn god, Shani Dev. And I started it. And from there, that day onward, I started smearing my forehead. That was okay. I tell you some more thing, some particular thing about this, about the paste which I use. It is not just a red color paste. It has rapeseed oil from the statue of Shani Dev or Saturn god. It has Ganga Jal, which we call it holy water from river Ganga, from Vaishno Devi temple in Jammu. It has the paste from the statue of another lord, a god, Hanumanji. And it also has the powder which we use when we worship Shirdi Baba. So it is not just a simple color or powder mixed with water. It has some powerful contents in it. And I have been feeling that since the day I started smearing my forehead with this paste, which we call it tilak, my days have become more peaceful. I feel satisfied. I feel calm in my activities, and I feel stronger while facing this difficult world. Thank you very much, and over to you.
Thank you. Raj, I thought you, as part of the TMOD, this was an extension for that, and you came through brilliantly with the explanations. Who wants to go next? Okay, Khushbu. Khushbu, A lot of times we follow rituals blindly without really understanding what it is, but because our parents would do it, our grandmother would do it, our people around us have been doing it, and every time we face something, someone says, do this, and we start following it. Is it blind faith, or there is some truth in these things?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Surinder, for this topic. Sometimes I would say it is blind faith, and sometimes we just do it out of fear. Let me give you an example. When I got married, my mother clearly instructed me that as a wife, you cannot wash your hair. You cannot wash your hair on every Amavasya, which is the full moon night. And if you do it, it is not good for your husband. And I followed it blindly for literally 9 years of marriage. It's until 1 year ago when this year I will complete my 10th year of marriage. And 1 year ago, I did a course on how to break your limiting beliefs. And it was at that point of time, I learned how to challenge all the beliefs that I have formed since childhood to now. And it was at that time, I took the courage to wash my hair on the day of Amavasya, which comes once in a month in Hindu calendar. I did it. I observed the whole day. Has something wrong happened today? Has something wrong happened today? Nothing went wrong. The day was fine, the day was smooth. My husband went to office properly. He came back properly. My child was all right. My house was all right. I was all right. And that's when I realized that sometimes we follow customs and rituals blindly out of fear because probably we never had the awareness. And all customs and rituals I now feel are nothing but strong beliefs that we have formed in our mind that if we follow this will happen. Whereas if we change that belief and we feel that if I do this, it will happen. So follow beliefs and customs and rituals which are going to give you success, which are progressive, which are easy and not a burden on your head. Like, okay, I can't wash my hair on this day. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Khushbu, it was only because you had crossed 7 years. It's always the 7 years itch which has the problem. So that is why it went off so well. Now, who else? I think this is going to be the last one because...
Charan sir, I would like to...
Yes, Sumit. A lot of times, customs and rituals come out of superstitions. And superstitions and certain rituals over the years have happened because of that. Would you be able to think about one such superstition which has led to rituals around you?
So, superstitions leading to customs and rituals, right? We have seen a lot of people wearing rings around some gemstones, saying that this particular gemstones will help you lead a better life or achieve certain success in your life. How this all came into picture is when somebody started marketing those gems, and some of the gems do had certain effects, but it came out on a random basis that some of those things that priests said to us came out to be true. This also happened with me. If you would have seen me maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been wearing all those rings. And one month I wore one of the ring. What happened is that I had witnessed certain positive things around me. That made me think that yes, there is something that is positive about wearing those rings, and that become a ritual for me. I have been wearing those 4 or 5 rings in my hands and some of the locket in my neck. That's something I would not know about other people, but that's become a ritual for me, that I used to have certain things in my neck and certain things in my hand to, and that became positive for me, and that I tried believing them more than myself. It's been a long time I go through this phase, and I had more belief on these rings and these items I'm wearing than on myself, and that became kind of a ritual. And I used to kind of worship a lot, also a lot of things. But over the period of time, I have gained back faith, just like Khushbu has said that she has gone through some course to figure out her own mojo. I try to figure out my own mojo by trying to believe, regaining belief in myself. And that happened also over the last 4 years. And right now I'm not wearing anything. I have more faith in me than on the rituals that I used to follow. That's about me. And that's what I would say, that things turning to custom and ritual, and then human being coming over it on top of it. That's something I learned. Over to you, Sharan sir.
Thank you, Sumit. You guys must be thinking why I have not called on Sheila, Alyssa, Anna, and Hope, because you guys are not so much steeped in these rituals and customs as we in India have. But I would definitely want one of you to pick on one custom or ritual that you have, which you always find very, should I say, irritating, or something which you have not been able to find. Satinder, I just wanted to share this with others, and then will one of you take on this? Hope, Sheila, Alyssa, or Anna? Something.
Hope has raised her hand.
Who's that?
Hope.
Okay, Hope, there you are. Let's Hope. Hope, go ahead.
Let me time myself. Thank you, Surinder. I was actually pondering a ritual or a consistent, repeated action that my family does every New Year's. So for the new year, on December 31st at midnight, my mother would always prepare black-eyed peas. And it is good luck for the next year to eat these black-eyed peas. Now, what adds the good luck is a penny. You place a penny in the big pot, you make the black-eyed peas, and whoever encounters the penny will have the luck for the rest of the year. However, money is a very filthy element. It's passed around in hands, it's in pockets, it's on streets and picked up. Therefore, I frown upon putting a dirty piece of money into a beautiful pot of beans. And I have found the penny twice, although I no longer want to partake due to the unmojo-ness of putting an unclean coin into a beautiful pot of black-eyed peas. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much. I think we are running out of time, and can I now hand over? Then the next time round we will do it. But now back to you, Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, and thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Shirendra Bhaumik, for conducting that Mozo Table Topics session. Now, we shall move to the next session, which is about evaluations. Let us have some more interesting facts about rituals and customs from some other parts of the world. For example, in Japan, eating noodles with slurping noise like this is considered good in Japan, as it makes food more enjoyable due to increment in flavor. In Nigeria, young women who are known as Yoruba. Yoruba is an ethnic group, and young women in that group kneel down, and young men lie prostrate in respect of their elders. In India, while performing yajna or yajna or puja, offerings of food grains, fruits, vegetables, etc. are made to different deities like gods of fire, god of rain, and god of air, under the assistance of priests. Some yajnas or yajnas are performed for a few hours, while others last several weeks. Similarly, in India, we recite names of gods, either silently or audibly. The ritual involves a continuous recitation of God's name to purify the mind and fill one's consciousness with spiritual energy. This regular chanting can create vibrations in the mind and body and can lead to a spiritual transformation. So much so about customs and rituals. I shall be concluding with the benefits or drawbacks of customs and rituals when I come back again. But for the time being, let's welcome our General Evaluator, Toastmaster, Alisa Schneider. When I asked Alisa for her take on customs and rituals, she says, one custom which she enjoyed always as a child was the Advent calendar. It was a 25-day countdown to Christmas, and for each day, she opened a little window on a calendar and found a chocolate. Let's welcome Toastmaster Alisa Schneider as our General Evaluator for today's meeting. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Raj Mehta. And welcome, members and guests. Have you enjoyed this journey through the customs and rituals of life? Life can be surprising. It can be amazing. It can pull the rug out of under our feet at times. Well, we hope not to do that to you now in evaluations. We're just going to provide a little bit of feedback. This is the ritual we hold to in Toastmasters. We hope it is very helpful for you and beneficial in reaching your goals. Do stay tuned, stay with us. As many as you can, put your screens on so we can continue to enjoy your company through these wonderful evaluations that we will receive. Now, first and foremost, before we jump into our feedback from several of our role players, we are going to have evaluations for the speakers. And our first evaluator for this morning, evaluating the speech given to us by Sadhvinder, is going to be Sheila Mcintyre. Sheila, over to you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Sadhvinder, when I listened to your speech, I was automatically pulled in by your question, who wants to travel? This allowed us to really partake in your speech and really become involved in what you were going to talk about. I loved how you set the scene and you let us in by talking about traveling by car and setting the minimum of expectations. The phrases you used throughout your speech were phenomenal. I loved delight of nature. I loved the word melodious, chirping of birds, humming of Bollywood song, landscape zone, bubbling through white stones, electrifying time, and sunshine through the forest energized us. I loved all of those phrases. What was so outstanding in your use of those particular phrases was you painted a picture for us. And that picture truly allowed us to be with you on your trip. Using those action verbs painted us a scene that truly made it memorable for us. I would encourage you, as a way to challenge yourself, to use more gestures. You did use some, but I think by being able to stand up in front of the camera, I think that you would be able to use even more gestures. In addition to that, more vocal variety could perhaps pull us in even more so, as well as a little bit more in terms of sharing those vocal variety pieces with the action verbs that you were sharing. I thought it was great when you sang a little bit of a song for us. And I also felt that it was great as you painted suspense for us, slowly stood up in the Jeep. We were wondering, what were you going to tell us? And high intensity of the air. I think that if you can include some more vocal variety with those action verbs you've already got going on, your speech would even be better and would pull us in even more so. However, that being said, I think you did a phenomenal job. You ended with the phrase, "Let life surprise you in the most unexpected ways." You started off strong and you ended strong. Overall, really great job. Congratulations. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for that outstanding evaluation, with which you were able to not only give recommendations, but also encourage our speaker. And that was done a fantastic, amazing job. That's what we look for. Now, up next, we're going to call on our second evaluator for today, who is going to be evaluating Anna Whistler's speech. And for that, we are calling on Khushbu Chokani. Over to you, Khushbu.
Thank you, Sheila. From cheeseheads to confetti. Anna, your speech has completely satisfied the speech objective, which was to speak in front of an unfamiliar audience. And most of us were unfamiliar with the Thanksgiving culture that happened at your place, and the tall tales competition and the different roles that you were playing in different Toastmasters club. That has completely satisfied your speech objective. And in terms of content, it was a brilliant speech. I love the way in terms of delivery, how your vivacious personality came out while delivering the speech, in terms of your voice variety, your smile, which was constant from beginning to end, and the message that you left at the end that you should know your audience. Having said that, I would request you to challenge yourself next time, because I have seen you speaking before and you are a nuanced speaker. I would request you to practice a little bit more. Today, I felt there were unnecessary pauses after certain paragraphs, after thoughts which were not complete, which showed that today, probably you have not practiced enough your speech the way you have delivered previously your previous speeches. And how you can practice it as a nuanced speaker. You already know many techniques, but one technique that I try to practice my speech when I'm falling short of time is I record my speech on my phone and I listen to it at least for 3 weeks before going off to sleep. And that somehow works for me because it just registers in my mind. Second recommendation, I would request you that you mentioned that know your audience well. How can we know our audience if we would have given us some more insights? For example, asking them to fill up a form, or asking the club club president where we are going and him about the kind of backgrounds this audience is coming from. A little bit of tip regarding knowing how to know your audience beforehand to deliver the speech will help us, the audience, to work on their future speeches much more better. But having said that, your speech was mesmerizing with your vivacious personality, and I'm sure with these little bit of recommendations, you're going to rock your next speech soon. Over to you, Elisa.
Thank you so much, Khushbu. What's fantastic about evaluations is that you get to listen to the audience's perspective, and that's the most important part. How did the speech come across? Hushabu gave us a good insight into what that looks like. And this is essential for the speaker so we can keep moving forward and again, reach for the highest level. Now, it is time we're going to take a small pause to make sure that we have voted for all of our participants of the day. And let's just go ahead and work on evaluators. Please send your votes to Sheila Mcintyre. Sheila, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're sending our votes to you. Please vote for best evaluator. We have Sheila Mcintyre or Khushbu Chogani. And I'm going to ask Hope to put a minute on the clock for your votes, please.
Mojo is going, clock starting now.
Thank you so much, Hope. I would also request, if you have not voted for best table topic, you can scroll up in the chat box and see who our table topic speakers were, and just take a minute and vote for them as well. And for best speaker. So three items: best speaker, best table topic, best evaluator. We'll finish the minute and we will continue to win it. Thank you so much to our timer who is keeping us on track. And up next in our busy schedule of activities for this morning, we have table topic evaluations, and I will be taking the lead on this aspect. Timer, please keep me at the ready. When it reaches 5 minutes, please show the red flag, and I will be timing myself as well. Thank you. For table topics today, wow, what an interesting theme when we're talking about rituals and what that feels like. Naveen was asked the question, what's a unique custom you've encountered? And he said, getting together with family and relatives and developing my sessions in prayer. What I loved about Naveen is that he's always at the ready to jump into a topic, and today was not an exception. One quick recommendation for Naveen would be to build on the suspense, tell us a bit more, add in a story about what it looks like to get together or about prayer and how that has impacted his life. Then we can get more involved in the speech to try and reach that green light and develop the theme a little bit more. Overall, fantastic job, Naveen. It was great to hear you. Thank you for coming. Amit, your question was, what is your mojo? And you said, that's interesting. And you took a pause. Fantastic. If we need a second to think, that is not a problem. Because in table topics, we can take that initial pause and then keep going as we formulate our response. I liked your answer. You said, I'd like to find solutions, not just focus on the problems. And that was fantastic. One recommendation for you would be eye contact. You were looking away to another part, and I felt I could not connect with your message as much as I would have liked. So please, all speakers, there were several of you, I won't mention you all, but please remember, look straight at the screen because that's going to allow us to connect with you. But again, fantastic, Amit. Find solutions, not problems. Shubham, you were asked what makes you uncomfortable in terms of rituals, and you jumped in right away and you had this whole story. It just felt like you had a prepared speech, and you had excellent vocal variety as you described what that looks like in south of India, to wash your hands, to wash your face, and then the different portions of food. And so with that vocal variety, you said, and then you had to wash your hands, but then it was crazy. And so you added that in for us. Fantastic job. And that would be also the recommendation, is to find different places where you can include that vocal variety. Jim, you were asked about funny rituals, and you gave us a whole tour through Stockholm, Sweden. But what I liked most was your descriptive language. You told us about a village, and it was in winter, it was summer, this side of the river. I felt like I could picture it as you described it, and I was there with you because of that language. That was fantastic. Quick recommendation, ways to bring in your audience. and just say, imagine if you had been there with me, or what would you have felt? This is how I felt. And that way we're going to connect even more with your message. Rupinder, color of flowers. You seem to have a story for every topic, and along with that, humor. And that's what I love, because humor is going to help us to be engaged, interested, and we're not going to stop listening, because you've got us hooked like a fish on a hook. And that's what humor does for us. Quick recommendation, just give us a little lesson at the end. You learned a lesson, allow us to learn the lesson with you by saying, just always remember, audience, and then give us that lesson so we can have a takeaway as well. Raj Mehta, satisfaction of rituals. Raj, what I loved about your table topic is that you shared something personal about your life. You told us a story, but then you shared why that was meaningful to you. And whenever you share your heart, we connect. That's how that works. A quick recommendation, watch out for those ahs and ums. They did slip in every now and again. And we just want to keep our language as clean as possible so we can focus on the message and not be distracted. Again, fantastic job. Thank you for sharing such a personal part of your life. Hushabu, wow. Is it a granny tale or is it just blind faith? Hushabu, what I loved about your topic was that you just took that English language to another level. You talked about having blind faith or having fear, breaking the limiting beliefs, taking the courage, and the day was smooth. That was fantastic, how you brought all those different uses of the English language in. Quick recommendation, you said a sentence, let me tell you. Instead of using that sentence, you could say, would it interest you to know? Or what would you think of so-and-so? And in this rephrasing, we're going to connect better. We're going to be more interested, because what matters is what the audience is interested in, not necessarily what you want to tell them, but what you have to share with them. Does that make sense? Sumit, superstition or rituals. What I loved is that you didn't have an object. You literally had your hand and I outlined the ring. And so you showed us a visual, and you kept bringing up your hand and saying, and this ring, and this ring, and this gem. And again, it just created a visual that we could focus on to remember your message. A quick recommendation, try to add in some descriptive language, talk about the ring, talk about your story, think about how you could just paint that picture with words and draw us in. And finally, hope. Wow. You not only took your timer roll to another level, but you talked about the ritual, the black-eyed peas, and how you prefer not to have a penny in your food. What I love is that you have taken that challenge. Therefore, you've used therefore instead of so, and you've been very specific about what words and language you use. Quick recommendation as we finish up, it's to just be careful with finding the balance between using all the vocabulary, but at the same time, allowing your topic to flow and not losing the connection. So just finding a balance there with the kinds of words you use and just making sure you keep on going. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hope, for the timing. That is our conclusion of table topics. You all did such an amazing job. It's always a pleasure to listen to you and be your table topic evaluator. Up next, we have several other role players who have been involved in intricately observing and noting down any vocabulary that would be helpful and useful, as well as several other annotations. And first up, we're going to start with, well, we're going to do it backwards. We're going to start with the grammarian report by Sumit Juneja to see what he has observed today. Over to you, Sumit.
Just give me a minute to show my screen. Is my screen visible to you all? Is it?
Yes.
It is visible. Thank you.
Okay, we have this word of the day. There's a lot of personal information also. Just look into this document only right now. There is a word of the day used too many times today because it was kind of linking with the topic as well. Elisa, Anna, Amit, Shorendra, myself, and Raj has used this word. Forgive me if I missed anyone's name here. Satvinder, it was your first speech. It was a very nice speech with lot of great usages. Minimum of expectations, delight of nature, chirping of birds, as used by Sheila also during her evaluation. Lot of these words like melodious voice of the river, the icing on the cake, beautiful view of the Mother Earth, miracle voice, calm and serene experiences. These are some of the very good words that have been used by you and have taken the speech to the next level. Anna, you smashing the egg on the head. We smash balloons in India during Holi as one of our festival. We smash balloon, you smash eggs. That's similar, I believe. Sharendra used steeped as one of the word. Surrounded or filled with quality or influence is the meaning of it. Shubham has used transpired and being mindful of. Transpired means to occur or happen much often. Jim used sun worshipping. We also do sun worshipping in India. Raj used sense of security and slurping as some of the great usages. Khushbu used my limiting beliefs and vivacious personality, which means attractively or animated personality. And she used this word for Anna, who used her vivacious personality to make the speech to life. Mesmerizing is also used by Khushbu during her evaluation of the speech, which means capturing one's interest and attention through magic, maybe through magic. Elisa used got us hooked, breaking the limiting beliefs, which is used by Khushbu also during her table topic. These are some of the good usages during the meeting. And some of the improper usages where I used Madam Toastmaster instead of Sir Mr. Toastmaster. And when we use Hindi song or Hindi language, it's always good to translate for the benefit of non-vernacular audience. Role versus RAL is something a misspelled word during this meeting. He versus she is one of the area where I have seen it 2 times during this meeting. And these are some of these improper usages and good usages. And this is my report. Thank you. Over to you, Elisa.
Thank you so much, Sumit. I knew that we could count on you for delivering that outstanding evaluation of grammarian that you always present. And boy, we learn every single time. It was fantastic. Thank you so much. It takes a lot of work to be grammarian, trust me. Now, up next, we have our next role player, the counter, who is going to be also presented. Sheila has a few little details for us, and we're gonna just call her up real quick to share what she has going. Over to you, Sheila.
Yeah, so I took on 3 roles tonight. That was a little bit too much. I was a little too ambitious about that. So unfortunately, this was the one that I didn't catch everything. So I am truly sorry. I did catch a few things. Satvinder, you had a or you had a well or a but, and you had kind of. Anna, you had a so. Raj, you had a couple of uhs. Sumit, you had an or an Hope, you had an and or a so, and that was about all I got. I am sorry for the rest of you. I didn't do well tonight. I apologize. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Sheila, and no apologies needed. You have done an amazing job of holding so many different rules together. And so we just, on behalf of all the club, we want to thank you so much for helping us out in our moment of need. If people don't show up, we are a team. We're here to support and encourage one another. And this is fantastic, just the way that you have stood in the gap in our moment of necessity. Thank you so much. And last but not least, we'd like to call on our timer, Hope. She has been providing the reports throughout during the chat, but Hope, over to you if you need to say anything else, or if you've got the final version all solidified for us. Over to you, Hope.
Absolutely, absolutely. Elisa, I believe I'm saying it correctly now. My mojo has been going for these wonderful timings. I've just been clearly enthralled with all of our timings. Therefore, here is our roundup, we all successfully completed a wonderful job of speaking within time. I would encourage one Toastmaster to allow us to enjoy your whole story due to the fact that the table topic was slightly under 1 minute at 42 seconds. Outside of that, everything that I heard was within time and pleasing to the ear, making my mojo go into full tilt. With that, I will close my roll and hand the reins back over to the General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Hope, for having your mojo on today for us. That was fantastic. What would we do without the timings? And I loved your background presentation in such a new and diversified way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment that you have all been waiting for, or not. Who wants to hear the general evaluation? Well, apparently you do, and I will be providing it for today. I have 5 minutes, so Hope, please keep me steady on my feet with those timings. On your marks, get set, go. In terms of timings, I'd like to point out that the general evaluator for the day was not on time. It's important, general evaluator, to arrive on time so you can make sure that all the role players will be present. We had several dropouts, and the general evaluator, that would be me, was not there to ensure that they all found a conclusion, but we thank Sheila for stepping in and several of you other members who have taken over, though for those who could not make it. But having said that, I want to congratulate each and every one of you. We had, let's go through here. Hope, excellent timings, excellent explanation, easy to follow. You presented your background, that was great. And then at the end, you had it in the chat and you also had your presentation for us to view. Thank you so much, that was outstanding. Sumit, as a grammarian, I loved how you gave us an example. It was a simple word, but it was one we had to find how to incorporate. Mojo, get your mojo. You gave us the examples, you posted in the chat. Quick recommendation, just to take it to another level, show it in your background, because the more we can see it, the more we'll remember, and hopefully we will use it. But again, outstanding, you were right on the ball, and your grammarian report was thorough and very informative. For our Toastmaster of the day, I want to congratulate Raj. He was obviously prepared. He had information at every point, talking about the different rituals when he mentioned the food bill, the cemetery, spitting even. And the index finger, what didn't we learn and how many countries did we not visit with his report? Quick recommendation for our Toastmaster. Again, this is if you want to take it to another level, but anytime you can throw in some visuals, it's going to help us to connect and remember what your points are. I try to listen, but sometimes I have a hard time following from one point to the next. And even just a simple, if you're going to show a cemetery, just show a tombstone, or an index finger. Well, you have to decide if, yeah, you can show maybe an image that will stick in our minds. But I loved how you contacted the members ahead of time. We lose this ritual in Toastmasters, but you were right on the ball, asking members what their ritual was, and you presented that throughout. So you were prepared. Thank you so much for leading the meeting with such charisma and energy and enthusiasm. Let's see. Up next, we had our table topic master. Surendra Vomek. We can never be at a loss when you're at the helm. Thank you so much for leading those table topics and getting each speaker to share different stories and unique characteristics of their own journeys through the rituals. Quick recommendation, when you provide the question, if you can simplify it to its shortest version, it will be easier for the speaker to understand what the question is and be able to provide a response. So just finding a way to formulate it in a simple path will help us out. But again, a fantastic, unique, and connecting with the theme that the Toastmaster brought. So thank you so much. Very well done there. In terms of our evaluators, wow, Sheila, in your evaluation, what did I not love there? What really stood out to me was how specific you were. When you were evaluating Satvinder, you noted her specific phrases, you explained how you felt, you explained why you felt that, you even mentioned her introduction question, which drew you in, and said, and quote, it painted a picture. You were very vivid, but you were specific. And this is key for helping us to connect. You also ended on an encouraging note, and that was fantastic. Recommendation would be to provide, you mentioned her adding in gestures, And so my challenge would be, give her examples of what those gestures would look like. Be specific. If you want her to do 1, 2, 3, or put your hand like this when you said this word, and just give her an idea. And then also you mentioned vocal variety. Again, if you can find a sentence or two where she could have employed vocal variety and tell her how she can use that method, it will just help to visualize what she needs to work on. But again, fantastic. You were so specific. Over to Khushubu and her evaluation. Khushubu, what I loved is that you jumped in right away and said what the speech objective was. And this can be lost, but we need to know that the speaker met the objectives. I also liked how you provided examples of how the speaker could focus on her speech, how to develop it by recording it. You were specific. You gave an example of how you do it, and that was fantastic. Recommendation: when you're giving the commendations at the beginning, you mentioned that she did well with voice, with a smile, and with a message, but go into depth. What kind of voice? When did she use vocal variety? How did she use it? When did she smile? How did she smile? What was the message? Why was that important? And just delve in so that we can, again, picture that and be connected with what you were describing, and then the speaker will have a better idea of how to proceed. Overall, this was a fantastic meeting. This has run flawlessly. People have been missing, but everybody has jumped in to save the day and make this an outstanding meeting. Now, for those of you who are awake in the morning, I hope that you're all set and ready to go with the day's activities with your mojos on after such an intriguing and unique theme. And for us who are going to bed, well, maybe we can dream about it. Having said that, we thank you all for coming, and we're going to hand it back over to our Toastmaster of the day, Raj Mehta. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster, Alisa. What an amazing evaluation of each and every activity which we done today in our meeting. I would like to conclude the theme by saying that customs and rituals are attached with some values like freedom, faith, integrity, responsibility, unity, self-management, etc. At the same time, customs and rituals are bad when ages-old customs and rituals create roadblocks or difficulties in making progress according to the modern requirements. Hence, customs and rituals must evolve with changing times. With these remarks, I would like to hand over to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Sumit Juneja.
Thank you, Raj. We have Jim as a guest today. Jim, would you like to share some few words with us in terms of how we can do better in various roles?
It's a good meeting as usual. Hope was a bit mysterious, hiding behind her colored cards. It would be great to see her smile again when she's doing the timing roll. But I'm just looking forward to the Diwali themed meeting, which I'm really looking forward to. Back to you.
We have decided the team mode for our next week meeting. Khushbu would be our team mode, and probably she might do a theme on Diwali next time. So hope Jim do join us next week also. We have Raj Mehta with us, who has a guest as well as team mode of the day, Toastmaster of the day, and he always comes to rescue when we need someone to play the role. And Raj don't look like a guest to us, but as a custom, I am asking Raj, what's your view on the meeting today?
I think it was a great meeting. I enjoyed every part of it, be it the territory session or the evaluation, great evaluation by Alisa, and great topics by Tabletop Master, Distinguished Toastmaster, Shrindra Bhaumik, and also the tabletop speeches. Everything was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed even my role, because I felt that knowing customs from other people living in different parts of the country and world was also good experience with me when I came to know about customs from Elisa and Anna and others, and also from the members who are living in Delhi and India. So it was a good experience doing this role. Thank you very much.
Great. So we had some amazing participants today. Sheila being one of those has taken up multiple roles today because we had some of our team members struggling with her pet not behaving properly and some issues with the health of her pet, and we had some last minute backout because of that. But Sheila, are you ready with your reports for who has done wonders today?
I do. So for best auxiliary role player, we had our grammarian Sumit.
Oh,
Great
great.
job. There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And
And-
from my side, I would give it to you, Sheila. You have done great job taking multiple roles today. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Best role player tonight, and the winner is our general evaluator, Elisa. My kitty doesn't like the competition, so great job, Elisa. And for table topics, we had a wide variety of people who were giving table topics. Our winner tonight, I should have done second and first. I'm not like Rupee, sorry. He'll be back probably next week. It'll be all right. But Jim was our winner for table topics. It was very close. Great job. Congratulations. And for our speech evaluator, it was a tie between the two of us, Kushbu and me, and I. We were both tied. And for the best speech, the best goes to Satvinder. Congratulations, everyone. Good job. I will have to ask Rupee if he will send the certificates because those I don't have.
Great. With this, we are towards the end of our meeting. I would like to ask if someone want to take role in the next meeting, can let me know right now. That would be great.